Hi everyone, welcome to your art/DT lesson, and today, as I promised yesterday, we are going to be making our own diaries. So what I suggest you do is you watch this video once. It's not going to be very long, so you watch it once and then you watch it again and do it along with the video the second time. So first time just to see what you need to do, second time follow along with the video. Okay, so there are a few things you need before you start. So if you are going to be using a piece of paper like this, which is what I attached to our assignment yesterday and I'll attach it again today, then you need to print out a few of these. So make sure you print out enough for the whole week. So based on how much you wrote yesterday, whether you wrote 1 page back to back, or if you wrote 2 pages or 3 pages or 4 pages, however many pages you did, you need to times that by 5 for the whole week. Okay, so that includes yesterday's work as well. It's better to have too many pages than too few pages. So you can see here, I've actually got quite a lot of pages because I thought, well, better to have too many than too few. So first of all, you've got your paper. That'll be the inside of your book, the inside of your diary. Then you need, so I'm in Mrs. Savage's classroom, you can see, then you will need some form of string. It doesn't necessarily have to be string, it can be thread or wool or shoelace, something you have lying around the house that you can use to tie something with. Ask your parents, they probably do have string somewhere or wool, something like that. So you'll need something like that. Your paper, you will also need a hole punch. Okay, if you do not have a hole punch, you'll have to find another way to make the holes, and I would definitely ask your parents to help you with this, because if you're not using a hole punch, you might be trying to do it a bit in a way that might be a little bit dangerous. So ask them if they can help you to do that. They might have a hole punch, especially if they're working from home. That's the sort of thing you might need in a home office. Okay, so you've got your hole punch, you've got your paper, you've got your string or something stringy. Then what you need is a piece of paper. I've chosen this colour paper, and this is going to be the outside of my book. If you have, like this is, an A3 size piece of paper, so that means it fits 2 sides of A4 on it, okay, then that is absolutely fine, okay, that is great. If you do not have that, you just have A4 paper, that's fine as well. It just means we'll have to do a front and a back, but it doesn't make much difference to the actual process. Okay, so you've got your big piece of paper, your coloured piece of paper. You might have 2 A4 papers or 1 A3 like I have. You'll also need, one last thing, some scissors. Okay, your scissors is to cut your string with. Right, so I'm going to try and talk you through what I'm doing as I do it. So this is why I said to watch it twice, because the first time I might be going a bit too fast for you to follow along, but the second time, once you know what you're doing, it might be a bit easier. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my big piece of paper. If you have 2 pieces of paper, you just need to lay them one on top of the other. So if you have 2 pieces of paper, obviously I know these have got our inside bits template on them, but if you've just got 2 pieces of paper, make sure they line up with each other, and you'll see why in a second. Otherwise, if you have an A3 piece of paper, fold it in half to make sure the corners match, and then press down along what is going to be the spine of our book. Okay, so this bit here, where it is folded, that is the spine of our book. So when you're holding a book and you're reading it, it's the middle part, as you can see, like that. Okay, so I did actually try this earlier and I went wrong, and I'm going to explain to you how I went wrong and how to avoid that. So what I did earlier is I thought, you know what, great, I've folded it in half. Now I'm going to use my hole punch and I'm going to hole punch loads of lines, loads of holes in it. Can you think of a problem with that? Because what you need to do next is you need to put the inside of your book in. Okay? Once you put your pages of your book inside, it's then going to be really hard to find those exact marks and use your hole punch to find those exact spots. A much easier way to do it So the way I recommend you do it, and the way I'm going to do it the second time and hopefully get it right, is that I'm going to put all of my pages, that's going to be the middle of my diary, inside my folded pieces of paper. So inside, you open it up, we've got our diary. Okay, see, it's all covered by the front page and the back page. And now I'm going to use our hole punch. So this means that I will hole punch it and the holes will go through everything. It'll go through the inside of the book and the cover. So they'll be in the same places. It's also up to you how many holes you do. I'm going to try and do quite a few holes because I think that'll look quite nice. These holes are what we're going to put the string through to bind our book. Oh, it's quite hard to push through that much paper, but it's fine, it's still working. Okay, right. I'm quite happy with that. I think that looks like enough holes for my binding of my book. So the next stage is, you can also see if you open it up, that all of the pages on the inside have been hole punched at the same point. So that's going to make it really easy for us to thread it through and join everything together. So now I'm going to get my piece of thread, and a really easy way to measure it is you're going to want to make it longer than the spine of your book. Okay, so put it along the spine of your book like this, and make sure it's quite a little bit longer, so maybe 1.5 of the book. Remember, you've got to tie it around on each end. Okay, so then make sure everything's joined in. You might need to just go like that, tap it in so it's all joined in. You can see the holes go straight through. You've got your piece of string, your thread, whatever you are using, maybe your wool, and you're going to thread it through the first hole. Okay, so like you would if you were sewing and you were putting the thread through a needle. Okay, so can you see coming through there? Excellent. Now we're going to put it through the next one. Okay, you can see we're not going to pull it all the way through because we want a bit to come out the end so we can tie it up. Okay, and you can see, ooh, depending on which side you look at. And then we're going to thread it back through. So poke it back out the other side. So alternating which way it goes. Okay, and again. And again. You can see here that my holes are not very even. If you want to make them more even, you can give that a go, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's part of the rustic homemade charm of it. Okay, so carry on threading it through. Okay, make sure it's pulled nice and tightly. So you see my ribbon's quite flat, so it's twisted around at some points, but that's okay. So you can see that is the binding of my book on each side. Now what I need to do is I need to make sure my book's not going to fall apart, so we need to do something with these ends. So what I would suggest you do is you tie them together. Does that work? Maybe not. Okay, let's improvise. How else are we going to do it? Right, we could, see this one here, move it over to the other side, loop it through there, and then tie it into a knot. Okay, you might want to double knot it just to make sure it's really nice and secure. I know this is a little bit fiddly. This is another reason why I said please watch the video twice. I'm sure if we were in class, I'd be helping out quite a few of you at this point. Don't worry about this being a bit long, that's totally fine. We'll cut it off after we've finished. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. So we've got this loose bit and we're going to loop it over to this side and we're going to pull it through the loop so it's nice and knotted. Okay. So put over, through the loop, and we got a double knot. So you can see there, now our binding is going to stay in place because of where we've put our knots. Okay? The book's still straight, whereas my original idea to tie it together would have meant it bent, which wasn't a very good idea, really. So now we're going to cut off these ends. Okay, and there you go. That is a basic way to make a diary. And you can flick through it. So, well done. Hopefully you've on your way, or you have made your diary. I'm going to do a short video later on today, and later on today we're going to decorate our diary. Okay, so at the moment it just looks like a book with some funny pages in it and joined together with some ribbon, but we're going to make it our own. Okay, so later on I'll do a short video just to explain how to do that, because I'm sure this will take you a little bit of time. Don't want to take up your whole morning doing this. Surely if it's sunny again, which I hope it's sunny, we can go outside and I will talk to you later about how we're going to personalise this. If you have plenty of time, you can go straight to that video now and then you can finish your home learning early today.